What's going on YouTube? My name is Chris and welcome to Immodernation, and this is the second part in a three-part series on GPU mods. The PC modding world, like anything else, is full of its gimmicks. Everything from individually sleeved power supplies to RGB everything. I mean, aren't you surprised that this chair is not RGB or this monitor is not RGB? Maybe I'll be RGB in the future. Who knows? But are some of these gimmicks actually useful? Well, enter the EVGA PowerLink, a cable management system for your GPU designed to route the cables around the side. This unsophisticated device, as you may recall, came out just over 2 years ago and was even offered for free with the purchase of an EVGA 10 series graphics card. And not all EVGA graphics cards supported the PowerLink. More on that later. So how did I hear about the EVGA PowerLink? Some guy named Jay?
What the fuck?
Yeah, that Jay. JayzTwoCents, I am here to make all of your dreams come true. Things that you never thought were possible. And I'm not talking about that, you sick freaks. I can already hear you typing away in the comments section. Just stop. So what am I talking about? Well, J Money put out a video just over 2 years ago. He offered his 2 cents, if you will, about the EVGA PowerLink, and he had this to say.
I thought these lit up where it says EVGA, but maybe it doesn't, so we'll be checking that.
And that was exciting to hear. Yes, another RGB device. But then he dropped this bombshell.
They do not light up. I thought they had white LEDs in there, but they don't.
And I was off to the races. So I purchased my own EVGA PowerLink just over 2 years ago in April of 2017, right after I published the LCD side panel mod version 1.0. But unfortunately, I did not do my research.
Not all PCIe power connectors on graphics cards are facing the same way. Facing the same way.
How was I supposed to know that EVGA is the only company to have their PCIe power connectors point down? I mean, besides Founders Edition cards, and nobody buys those except for reviewers and small form factor builders. I had the entire mod completed and I got to the end only to realize it wouldn't fit.
For instance, on this MSI 1063 gig right here, the power plug, the little prong that's used to latch the cable for the PCIe Express power is pointing up. But when you look at NVIDIA graphics cards that are design reference and companies that don't flip the power plug around, that little tab is pointing down. And because the power on these rails are polarized, there is a positive and a negative, you cannot just flip the little plug upside down in there and plug it in. One last thing I want to point out, since I did try it real quick just to see what would happen, is if someone was going to try and flip this over upside down accidentally, you can't accidentally flip it upside down because you can see in here there is the little rail system and there's a little tab right there. It's not perfectly centered, so it has to make room for the little latch to go in. So it only goes in one way. So you can't accidentally put it in upside down and blow up your card because you have the positive and negative backwards. It simply won't go in. So that's a good thing.
So I shelved the project for a little bit over 2 years, and just recently I was going through my unfinished project archives. I didn't like the original design that I had for the EVGA PowerLink mod, so I decided that I was going to scrap it and start over. So here it is, the completed EVGA PowerLink RGB mod. I hope you enjoy. I haven't actually found any EVGA PowerLink mods. I did find this one video from DC Media where he colored in the lights with a silver Sharpie, which I guess is cool in the light. But in the dark, you really can't see anything, and I think it would have been a better choice to use fluorescent paint, but you need some sort of UV black light for it to work. But nonetheless, kudos to you, good sir, for a mod well done. It's not like I've ever been criticized for a mod in every video.
Before we do any sort of cutting out, we need to take the PowerLink apart first. I ripped off that wimpy warranty label and began taking it apart with the hex key. I then pried it apart with a flathead screwdriver. Remind me again why I need a warranty? What exactly are they protecting against? The body snaps apart and the electronics come out. We're greeted by some filter caps and some pretty thick leads. The 8-pin connectors are on a sliding rail system. And that's about it. There's not really much else left to say. It was designed to move the cables around the corner of the card, and I think it does that well.
Next, we're going to route out the letters using our rotary tool. For this part, you're really going to want to take your time. You'll also want a steady hand, otherwise one fell swoop and your E will look like a G. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go back over it with an emery board. That's a fingernail file for most of the men that are watching this channel. I'm using a Dremel 191 high-speed cutting bit on a Dremel 225 flex shaft into a Black & Decker rotary RTX rotary tool. Damn it, I said rotary twice, didn't I? Oh well. Leave it. You can find these tools and many others by using the Amazon affiliate links in the video description below. I started with a metal nail file, which was great for the straight portions. Like nails on a chalkboard. But once I got into the curved areas, I needed something a little bit more flexible. I got these emery boards at Ulta. Just kidding. I've been told Ulta is like the micro center of cosmetics. You can cut these emery boards down as small as you want to really get into the cracks of the letters. I was using part of a monitor filter initially for this mod, but I decided that I was going to use some clear acrylic instead. I've got another idea. I got my ruler out and realized I needed about 5.5 centimeters of acrylic. All right, this part's a little bit complicated, so let me explain the setup. I'm going to be bending the acrylic 90 degrees. I marked where the bend would be with a black Sharpie marker. Instead of using a heat gun, I'm going to focus more of the hot air using a hot air rework station. The hot air rework station is set to 300 degrees Celsius with the blower set at about 7. I've got the acrylic taped down right where the bend would be. And I'm using a piece of wood because I know that it's not going to catch fire as easily. It'll also not melt, unlike the table it's sitting on. Fuck. Alright, new plan. In my second attempt, I switched the hot air rework station to 200 degrees Celsius with a blower speed of 5. I also switched to masking tape from vinyl electrical tape because the vinyl seems to melt pretty easily. The major benefit of the hot air rework station versus the heat gun is that I can more precisely focus the heat where I want it to be. You want to go back and forth at a very slow pace, but not staying in one place for too long. If the plastic gets too hot, you'll start to get bubbles in the plastic, which will be bad for light diffusion. I'm now super gluing my RGB light strip down. This is my mini RGB LED light dimmer. I'm going to take the plastic off and we'll start modding this. We don't need this white connector, so we're going to remove it from the board, using a little bit of desoldering braid in order to remove the connector. I want the LED controls to be adjustable from outside of the PowerLink, so I'm going to be cutting a hole into the PowerLink in order to access the board. I'm using a pencil to trace around the outside, and then I'll be cutting it out with a rotary tool. Here I'm demonstrating the actual proper technique of using a rotary tool, which is a touch and go type maneuver. You kind of touch the plastic until it cuts in and then you lift off, making small individual cuts down the line. Well, that cut might have been a little bit too big, but oh well. Well, I'm going to solder up the contacts and test it out with another light strip. It seems to be working just fine. The part that I didn't show is when I gutted out the interior of the PowerLink with my rotary tool. Most of the plastic supports inside the PowerLink are gone to accommodate the wires. I'm applying clear heat shrink over the electronics, and this serves two purposes. One, it's to make sure that none of the wires become disconnected when I install, and two, it is to prevent the board from shorting out onto the rails of the PowerLink. I understand that I could just run the wires through the outside of the PowerLink to a Molex connector to power it externally, but I did want to maintain the stock look of the PowerLink. So I wired it to the positive and negative terminals of the 8-pin power connector, as you can see from this diagram here. So this is what it looks like, positive to positive and negative to negative. Make sure the orientation is correct or the lights will not work. Now it's time to reassemble the PowerLink. You might have noticed that I've added some white vinyl to the outside of the acrylic. This is not unlike the white reflective surface of the LCD side panel mod or GPU backplates. But don't worry, I never drop subtle hints about upcoming videos. The last part of reassembly is putting in that hex screw, and we are ready to plug this in. With the LED controls, you could set the color, you could set the mode, or you could set the speed. You could pretty much have your own techno party. It really surprised me how well this mod turned out. The letters are clear, bright, and absolutely visible. Best of all, the EVGA PowerLink maintains a stock look. It's almost as if it came this way. So I really like the way that this mod turned out. However, there are a couple things that I would change. First, I would change the RGB dimmer to an infrared RGB dimmer that would allow me to use a remote control. That way I don't have to open and close the case all the time in order to switch the lights or the light patterns or the speed of the light patterns. It's 2019 and people are bored of the same 7 colors. The other option is that I could switch to addressable RGB LEDs and have some sort of programmer. That would increase the cost for me, and really, like, there wasn't really a point. I don't have any plans to configure it in the future, so you could do it, but it's not for me. The other thing that I would do is maybe spend a little bit more time routing out the individual letters. When it comes to modding, you hit this period of diminishing marginal returns. And what I mean by that is that you put in the extra 2 or 3 hours to see only a 1 or 2% improvement in the design. Some modders are like that. That's not me. I still gotta edit this video and get it out to all of you. So my time is very valuable. One other option is to use some sort of computer-aided tool like a CNC router or a laser cutter. Unfortunately, I don't really have access to that, and that kind of defeats the purpose of creating a guide. If I'm creating a guide for all of you out there, 80 to 90% of my audience is not going to have access to these kinds of high-level tools. I want to be able to create guides for everybody to be able to complete something with very simple tools. CJ, see? I did it for you. You know what? Who am I kidding? JayzTwoCents probably doesn't watch my videos anyway. Whatever. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you slap that like button below and share the video. And while you're at it, why not join the Modern Nation and get subscribed by clicking on that subscribe button below. And hey, when you do, don't forget to click on the bell icon inside the button to be notified the moment that I release new videos. If you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them for me in the comment section below, or why not hit me up on social media? I'd love to hear from you guys. And when you buy products from Amazon, consider using the affiliate links in the video description below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see ya!